The U.S. government says it has conclusive evidence that President Assad's forces have used chemical weapons against the rebels in Syria. The White House also says President Obama has decided to provide military support to the rebels. In the past hour, it put out this statement. The intelligence community estimates that 100 to 150 people have died from detective chemical weapons attacks in Syria to date. We believe the Assad regime maintains control of these weapons. We have no reliable corroborated reporting to indicate that the opposition in Syria has acquired or used chemical weapons. Well, let's get more now from Patty Culhane. She joins us live from Washington, D.C. And Patty, President Obama's so-called red line has been crossed. How much more support is the White House offering the rebels as a result of this?
Well, that is the big question in Washington. You remember the president, when he talked about that red line, he was explicit. He was clear. It's a red line. That would change his calculus. He would do something. So now the administration is saying on a conference call that was not videotaped, but on the record, that they are going to do something. They are going to provide military support to the SMC. So what does that mean? I mean, are we talking about knives? Or are we talking about surface-to-air missiles? They are very purposefully not saying. They were pushed by reporters. They didn't want to answer that. Obviously, there's a political downside for them if they come out and they say we're providing some very serious hardware to the rebels. Because remember what the president has publicly said, that it is dangerous, that they don't want the weapons to end up in the wrong hands, that they don't want more violence created by any aid that they give. So they are trying to be very cautious and very cagey in exactly what they're saying. Likely some of the details will leak out in the coming days, but right now the White House has the floor and they are just basically saying they're going to give military assistance, but pretty much nothing else.
And interestingly, Patty, the White House, they say in the statement that there is no reliable evidence or indeed reporting to indicate that the opposition forces in Syria have acquired or indeed used chemical weapons, which perhaps puts them at odds with the UN.
Well, exactly. But the president, remember what he set as the parameters for this. At first, he came out and it seemed like he was basically trying to buy himself some time. He said that they needed an investigation that would be irrefutable to the international community. And at the time, it seemed as if he was saying he would need proof so conclusive that not even Russia and China, who've refused to back up any sort of UN Security Council vote, that they would be able to refute it. Now, it seems that he is saying that now they have evidence that the president is comfortable with. They're going to bring it to the G8 partners, but that they are going to take these steps. Now, a couple of other things that Ben Rhodes, this was the person talking to reporters, said behind on the phone, is that they have not decided on a no-fly zone. That's been some of the pressure that he's been getting from some of the allies. They'd like to see a no-fly zone. Rhodes saying that there's no evidence that that would in fact work. So the president basically saying he's going to take this next step, although we don't actually know what this next step is. We don't have any sort of amount. We don't know if what they're going to give is going to make any difference. And I can tell you behind the scenes here in Washington, people have been saying this about the White House deliberations, and this has been the argument, I believe, inside the Situation Room. How much does the U.S. want to get involved? It passed the point of just doing a little. Do they have to do a lot? I can tell you they're saying very publicly, no boots on the ground. That's not an option. There have been some talk about a no-fly zone. Military says it's going to be incredibly expensive. It's intensive for resources, and it might not actually have an impact. So the president saying that they are going to take this additional step, but leaving himself a lot of public wiggle room because we don't actually know what that step is going to be. But yet he is saying that he's going to provide some sort of military support to this one group, the SMC.
Yeah, the rhetoric there in D.C. still somewhat vague on this. Patty Culhane, thanks so much.